Yeah. That match took forever. WWE Payback is what we're talking about here tonight. And we'll probably talk about CM Punk because we should, right? I mean, it's a wrestling show, and CM Punk got fired by AEW today. Tony Khan said he feared for his life.
Oh, let's go through everything. I mean, do we have the live footage from Chicago, like when he talked to the live crowd? That's insane.
I don't think we can play that.
Oh, okay.
Right? I mean, it's there.
Well, it's a fan cam.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that. What was the crowd saying? Okay. Was the crowd booing him?
Oh, the crowd, yeah, wasn't too happy.
Oh.
But it's Chicago. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah. Kind of a rough time to announce all that. We'll get to CM Punk.
Balls.
You want to talk about Punk right now? Right off the bat before Payback, John? I feel like we should stick to Payback and then get to Punk later as we start to drift towards All Out tomorrow, right? We'll be back tomorrow, John.
We can.
We got a lot
That's
of stuff
true. We're
cover.
Back tomorrow.
Let's start with Payback. We'll talk about CM Punk too because that is the news of the day, and it is pretty crazy that AEW has fired him. Payback though is the show we just watched. Seth Rollins defending the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event. Curb stomp to beat Shinsuke Nakamura. Rhea Ripley defended her Women's World Championship with a win over Raquel Rodriguez. Shocker of the night, the Judgment Day. Damian Priest and Finn Bálor, they got help from Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough, and they beat Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to become the new WWE Tag Team Champions. So Sami and Kevin lost the tag team titles tonight to the Judgment Day. Rey Mysterio.
Easily.
Say it again?
Like the match of the night. Easily match of the night. Like, no question here.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm seeing a lot of people loving that match in the chat. Rey Mysterio beat Austin Theory to retain the United States Championship. LA Knight got a win over The Miz with John Cena as the special referee. And Becky Lynch with a win over Trish Stratus, pinning her with a top rope manhandle slam in a steel cage match. That was excellent. And another contender for match of the night. Those are the two that people are definitely talking about after Payback. Shout out to Ray Cruz, Doug Hepburn, and everybody else tuning in. Ray and Doug, members over at join.ringsidereport.net. Tony Mack as well, a member, staying up all the way in London, England, staying up real late for the show tonight. And, of course, people do want to talk about CM Punk. Alex Tarras, very happy that CM Punk is done. Ryan Katz in the chat as well. Franco316. Shout out to everybody watching us on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Kick. Did I get all of them? I don't even know.
Maybe hearing us on podcast later if this comes out on podcast.
No, I don't think this is a podcast. This is a video only show. Only Wrestling Uncensored is a podcast. All right? You got to have some exclusives. This is just video. Okay. So match of the night, you already spoiled it, John. Good job. Your match of the night is the tag team title match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn dropping the belts to Damian Priest and Finn Bálor. An incredible spot during the match where Kevin Owens did a swanton off a balcony in the fans. He jumped off the railing, had his hand on a fan to balance himself as he jumped, threw a table, threw Dominic Mysterio onto the floor. It was a highlight that will be a WWE highlight for years and years to come. It's going to be something that you will see over and over again. It was shot perfectly. It was executed perfectly. It was devastating. And it's something you don't see every day. It elevated the match. As soon as he did that, it's like, oh, business is picking up, right? As Jim Ross would say, business is picking up after that match or after that move. And it was a hell of a match. Crazy stuff. Great false finishes. Blood. wardrobe changes, right? Kevin and Sami got tossed into a penalty box. Kevin came up bloody when he came back. I guess Dominic Mysterio hit him with a forearm or an elbow shot that actually busted him open. He didn't blade. It seemed like he bladed because
No.
he
didn't blade.
You know what I mean? But when I first saw it, I was like, well, he fell into a thing, he disappeared, and then when he came back, he had all this blood on him. So I was like, well, that's odd. They don't usually do blading in WWE, but he was wearing a Terry Funk shirt, so I thought maybe he was allowed.
No, but I get how you could see how it worked out that way. But if you watch back, because I watched it back, when Dominic comes running in to interfere in the match, his elbow like sliced Kevin's head, and you see Kevin like touching his head right away, and then he went flipping over, so that probably didn't help him as well. He went flipping over into the penalty box upside down, and he's just got a cut, so I'm sure that helped the blood come out a little bit more easily.
Yeah. And he did get wiped off eventually by a trainer or doctor or something. There was a towel there, and they wiped the blood off of him because he was quite bloody. Sami and Kevin coming out in the Pittsburgh Penguins jerseys with the hockey gloves and the sticks that were just miraculously stashed there. Like they knew that their opponents were going to toss them into that very area, and they had that stuff prepared. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they had the rally towels too for the Penguins or just Pittsburgh in general, like underneath the ring. Like, there's a lot of convenient stuff just lying around, but you can say it's a Steel Town street fight, right? So this stuff would just obviously be there.
Yeah, just be laying around, right?
Of course. Yeah.
It was cool to see Kevin Owens with the Mario Lemieux jersey and Sami Zayn with the Sidney Crosby jersey, two other great legendary Canadians that did a lot of ass kicking in Pittsburgh. So it was cool to see Kevin and Sami pay homage to those guys. I'm sitting here doing the show in the very neighborhood that Mario Lemieux grew up in Villemard, Montreal. That's where Mario Lemieux is from.
I believe Crosby's from Nova Scotia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So good for them. I like that. I thought that was a cool spot during the match. Finn Bálor took a blue thunder bomb on a bed of chairs. Just crazy stuff. Kevin Owens hit that stunner. Sami hit the kick. And it looked like it was over for Damian Priest, but then JD McDonough showed up and broke the count. Like, that was a good false finish. I thought it was over at that point.
They had a lot of good finishes, false finishes in this match.
Yeah. Kevin Owens powerbomb JD on the announce table. It didn't break. It's pretty nasty. Rhea Ripley then speared Kevin Owens through the barricade. What'd you think of that?
Well, first with JD, it wasn't really a powerbomb. It was more like a pickup, and then they'll just push you down.
But it seemed like he was trying to pop up powerbomb him, but it didn't quite work, right?
Yeah. Because maybe, I guess he thought he needed to really break the table. He got to really put more force behind it because JD's kind of small. It still didn't work. Still didn't break, but it looked vicious, so that's okay. And the Rhea thing, like, we've seen that bump so many times. That's the problem with it. It's not that cool because I feel like we see it almost every week or every second week. So it's a nice spot, but it's not that cool because we see it too much.
Well, it took Kevin Owens out of the match. Sami was down. He dodged Finn's double stomp, hits his haluva kick. Again, you thought, oh, maybe they're going to retain here because I don't think anybody expected Sami and Kevin to drop the belts tonight, right? So I thought at some point Sami and Kevin were going to win, and then when Sami hit the kick and he had Finn down, I thought, oh, maybe here. And then Dominic Mysterio shows up, smacks Sami with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Finn covers Sami 1, 2, 3 and wins. Finn and Damian Priest, new tag team champions. Pretty surprising. Finn and Damian have been kind of at odds in the Judgment Day. Not quite feuding, but a little bit upset with each other because Damian has the Money in the Bank briefcase and Finn Bálor wants to be champion too. So there's friction there in the group. And now they're the tag team champions. Not a short run for Kevin and Sami with the tag team titles, right? I mean, they won them at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That was back in April. Several months, not a bad
But
run.
you look at the problem was you look at their great title defenses. They really only had one, and that was against Roman and Solo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because it's Roman. He's a big name, and it's like at that point, no one was beating Roman. So the fact that, and Roman didn't lose the match, but still the team didn't win. So that was the only big thing they kind of got, because they never really got any revenge on the bloodline. So that was the one thing they finally got against Roman.
Yeah. They didn't have a great run with the tag belts, but the tag division isn't very strong.
Yeah.
It's not really their fault. It's the division.
Well, I felt like they just, injuries hurt too. Kevin got hurt, so that kind of slowed them down a bit. They didn't get a match at Money in the Bank. They didn't get a match at SummerSlam. So when you miss out on big events and you're just kind of like, you're still in the background kind of thing. And how many times did they wrestle Judgment Day? Like, in the end, we had to switch it up if you think about it, because this is just getting too repetitive. So it's actually good to change it and do something different.
And we'll see where they go from here. I don't know if they stay a tag team or they move on and do their own thing as singles wrestlers. I think they probably split up. I mean, not as friends, but just as a tag team.
Yeah, I could see that, but I mean, they can still be allies in a sense. Just, maybe focus more on singles as possible.
So that was my match of the night. That was your match of the night too. I mean, that was it, right? That was Payback. That was the big match.
That wasn't the end of the show. It should have been the end of it should have been the main event. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But the show kept going, sadly.
You got the World Heavyweight title, though. You kind of have to put that on last.
Like, my belief is, like, the best match, that should go on last. Like, and the tag team titles, those are undisputed tag team titles. Like, to me, that stole the show. So that should have been last.
Yeah. Part of the reason why it stole the show was because it was so wild, the no DQ, the crazy spot from Kevin Owens. But another part is because of the finish, and I think that if the match were on last, we might expect a title change a little bit more. It was so unexpected, I think that added to the match. That surprising finish that the Judgment Day actually won this time. But it was definitely the best match that we saw tonight. Although Trish and Becky had a great steel cage match. What was your match of the night? I think I saw a couple of picks in the chat. He liked Trish. Ray Cruz thought Trish versus Becky was the match of the night. Let me know in the chat, what was your match of the night? Let me know on Rumble. Let me know on YouTube. What was your match of the night tonight for WWE Payback? We're going with the tag team title match. I thought that was the best thing that we saw. A very strong opener, though, with Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. Overall, for Payback, what are you giving this show? 1 to 10. How do you grade WWE Payback? I thought we had some good moments. I really liked Becky and Trish. I really liked the tag team match. I liked Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. I did not really like LA Knight and The Miz. I didn't love Rey and Austin Theory. And I didn't love Seth and Nakamura. It was okay, but it really didn't do much for me. But the matches that were good exceeded expectations. And the matches that I didn't love weren't terrible. They just weren't great. So I would say a solid 7. Maybe even a 7.5 if I'm being generous. But I'm going to go with a 7 overall for Payback. It was a good show. It was a good, solid wrestling show. It was a little bit too long.
Right.
A few of the matches dragged, especially the main event and the LA Knight and Miz match. Those matches dragged way too much. You could have shaved 5 to 10 minutes off those matches. And, it didn't have any heat behind it. There was very little build, very little excitement for any of the matches. On paper, it wasn't that great. The wrestlers delivered, but the booking and the intrigue going into it wasn't really there. Becky and Trish are the only ones that have had like a long-standing feud where they kind of settled things in a way tonight. I think they settled things because Trish attacked her friend there after the match, so something else is going on there. But everything else is just kind of recent and kind of... I guess Sami and Kevin have been doing stuff with the Judgment Day for a while. But there was not a ton of build for the other matches here, and I don't think people really cared. And you kind of figured what the results were going to be for most of these matches going in. Little too predictable for my liking. So 7 on 10. Good effort from all the wrestlers. Some really good matches. But it just didn't have spice. You know? It was good. 7 is solid. On paper, this show looked about a 5. But because the matches were so good, it's a 7.
Well, I kind of feel the same way as you, but I give it a slightly bit higher. I think what Ryan Katz gave it a 7.5. That sounds about right. I thought it was slightly above what I expected. Tonight I wasn't expecting much, so the fact that we got that cage match, I thought Street Fight was fantastic. I thought I liked Theory against Mysterio. Again, not the greatest match, but I thought solid match. I really didn't have a problem with LA against Miz. I understand that it was a bit long and dragged, but John Cena's there, and they're trying to make the most out of Cena, so he has to get a lot of airtime. So I get that too. I thought the women's title match kind of dragged a bit, and I thought the crowd didn't really care. And I think that's the problem of having a street fight, and then, let's go back to regular wrestling. The crowd, it just isn't there for it. You need people that are super over, and Rhea's over, but I don't think Raquel is really that over, that the crowd really wants to get behind her that much. So that kind of hurt that match a bit. And the main event was fine. But again, you've seen almost everything already. So then when you get to the main event, you're kind of already tired. And yeah, for a premium live event like this, it doesn't need to go past 11 o'clock. So I lost some points on that one. But still good overall.
Yeah, it was good. But when the show is over 3 hours and you have a main event where Seth is going to win and it's the longest match on the card, you kind of go,
yeah,
all right, guys, can we wrap this thing up? What are we doing? It was just too long. So I think, and just the match, at no point did I think Shinsuke Nakamura was going to beat Seth.
No. They tried commentary, but no, I didn't believe it.
So I think that's a failure of the match. They weren't able to successfully make me believe at any point that Seth wasn't going to win. You knew when the match was announced that Seth was going to win. You knew every step of the way that Seth was going to win. And you knew every second, every minute of this match that Seth Rollins was going to walk out still champion. They never made us believe. And that's a failure of the match. That's why it's not match of the night. Not even close. Not even in the conversation. They wrestled the longest match of the night. It was the main event. It's two good wrestlers, two athletic guys. Shinsuke did that big move thing at the top rope. I don't know what it's called, but it was pretty damn cool. They did a few good moves, but it just didn't have any heat. No one cared because you knew, yeah, Seth's going to win. Hit the stomp already. Hits the stomp. 1, 2, 3. He wins. And then we go home. But it's it's 26 minutes, man. What are we doing here? It's almost 11:30. Why is this show so long? You only had 6 matches. 3 hours is enough. You gave us Cody. You gave us John Cena. You gave us the stars. Wrap it up, folks.
Then you have all the packages in between everything that take forever.
Yeah.
So they like to drag. They can drag 3 hours very easily. They're good at it on Raw, so
3+. So I'm seeing some scores here in the chat. KJ giving the pay-per-view a 7, just like me. Doug Hepburn says tag team match was his match of the night. Let me know your match of the night as well. Let me know your scores on 10 in the chat. Doug Hepburn says 5.5 on 10. Wasn't horrible, but not great. Tony Mack giving it a 6.75 on 10. I like how specific you are there, Tony. 6.75. Not a 7.
Not bad.
Not a 6.5. 6.75. He's got his own grading system, and I like it. Ryan Katz giving it a 7.5, just like Big Johnny. Alex Tarras did not like this pay-per-view. 1.5 out of 10. But also says Trish Stratus is the GOAT, so I don't know. I guess he loved the Trish match, but only good enough to give it 1.5 out of 10 for the pay-per-view. Ray Cruz, 6.5 on 10. And a lot of guys still surprised that Trish Stratus called Quebec people frogs, which was a little bit surprising, but she got away with it. And she got away with a whole lot tonight, putting her body through a lot of stuff. That superplex off the top of the steel cage when she was hanging. What?
Okay, like
what?
Her legs were dangling, but she wasn't on top. Like they weren't standing on top of the steel cage.
She was in the
like
cage.
Becky
though.
was on.
Becky was on the top rope.
Right. Yes, but they were on top of the steel cage.
Right, it wasn't exactly a superplex from the top of the steel cage, but it was still a pretty big bump.
It was. You got to give her that.
Come on.
But there wasn't any bumps off the cage. They didn't fall off the cage or anything like that. They did top rope stuff, which is still very good. But, yeah, nothing off the top of the cage, which is probably for the best. I mean, that could have been a serious injury if they did that.
Yeah, the top of it. But Trish was kind of like... She wasn't on the top rope. Trish was higher than the top rope.
Well, but her legs are just dangling, so it's not like it's the same thing pretty much as being like on the top rope. Like there wasn't any extra height because it's Becky holding her from the top rope, right? So,
but Becky was on the top rope. Like a lot of times you see superplexes in wrestling and the wrestlers are on the second rope.
Well, especially the women's matches, you rarely ever see it, so.
They went all the way up.
Yeah. No, I give them a lot of credit for that. There was some big bumps in there, and like again, Becky took a bulldog off the top rope. There was some good moves and all that. Becky kicked out a lot of stuff that made Becky look really good. And my one critique of this is the fact that the cage match doesn't feel like it's a cage match anymore. People can just break through the cage. The whole idea of that is keep other people out, and they constantly like find a way to get through that, go over the cage, go through the door. Like it kind of destroys the idea of having a cage match. So that kind of hurt a bit for me. Like
that's always happened.
It's a handicap match now.
I don't think that's new.
Not always. Like you don't always see people have to interfere all the time.
Pretty incredible match, though. I was very impressed with how good that it was. When Trish was dangling off the cage, like outside of the cage with her legs kind of...
Yeah. That was good.
My knees hurt just watching that. I was like, man, Trish does yoga for real.
Yeah, but she's flexible, though.
Yeah, man.
She can do that. Yeah.
It was impressive, though, She's been wrestling for a long time. She's been on the road. She got... she's... How old? At this point? In her 40s?
46, 47.
Okay. Compare her to John Cena and how he's moving around. They're like the same age. And Trish is from another generation. Like she's from the Attitude Era,
But this goes back to the whole, she keeps up with her training, She just has her own, yoga, studio kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Cena, it's just him doing Hollywood, and that's it.
And muscle things.
Maybe he does weights and all that. That's fantastic, but that's not wrestling training. That's not going to keep you ready to wrestle. Like, she keeps herself really fit.
Yeah, it was very impressive. Really good match with Becky Lynch tonight. And eventually, Becky hit the manhandle slam on Trish from the top rope to get the pin. After hitting the manhandle slam on Zoey Starks. Zoey Stark? Starks. Stark?
Yeah. No S.
Okay. Ricky Starks, Zoey Stark. So Zoey got into the ring. She smashed the cage door in Becky's face and tried to get involved, but it didn't work. Becky was able to win. Trish didn't like it, got mad at Zoey after the match, and slapped her. So that's the end of that alliance, I guess. Zoey and Trish have broken up. Does Zoey turn babyface off of this?
Yeah, it felt like Trish was still the heel off this, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. I mean, I feel like there's more they could still do with Trish. And Zoey just recently came, so it's hard to say where she would go, you know?
Okay.
Like, face or heel, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's hard to turn Zoey Stark a babyface off of Trish Stratus. It's going to be hard to get people to boo Trish and cheer for Zoey Stark because she's new and we don't care, and people are going to cheer for the star.
Well, Trish can be annoying, though, so...
Yeah, but is Zoey Stark likable? Like, we know Trish can be liked next to Becky. People like Becky. Do people like Zoey Stark? You got to get people to like Zoey Stark. You haven't even attempted that. Is that possible? So far, I don't know. I don't like her that much. You know, like, I don't know. She's just there.
Wait and see. I mean, have them wrestle each other and see what happens. I mean, I don't know about you. That's not pay-per-view. That's television, so...
Don't care to see it.
They could do something.
Yeah, I don't need
well,
to
you're
see
gonna
that
get
at all. Yeah. Are you going to get it, or is Trish done? At what point is Trish Stratus not wrestling anymore? Because you figure it's like she's not staying. How long is she staying? Does anybody know?
I thought she was going all the way to Mania with this. I thought she was going to get a title shot at Mania.
Title shot at Mania against...
Well, whoever the champion is at that point.
Okay. John Cena did an in-ring promo, and right off the bat, he's like, I want to make myself the special referee for LA Knight and The Miz, okay? And then The Miz comes out, and he's like, you're a bad host. You're not good at this hosting payback thing, John Cena. And John Cena's like, well, it's my first time, Miz. How about some advice? And Miz is like, do this, do that. Get involved with the show. And John Cena's like, oh, how about I'm a special ref? And Miz is like, no. And Cena's like, yeah, I'm going to be the special ref. How about that, Miz? And it's like, dude, we just spent 5, 6, 7 minutes getting to a point that you already made in your opening line. You said, hey, I'm John Cena. I'm going to be the special referee. And then you and Miz are jibber-jabbering for a long time. And then at the end is like, hey, Miz, how about I'm the special referee? Do you think that's a good idea? It's like, what? Yeah. We know you're going to... That's the point. We already know. We're there already. Why are we wasting time? Bunch of nonsense. And then the match absolutely sucked because LA Knight was wrestling The Miz. It was garbage, and it lasted forever. And Cena was a referee, and he was just kind of there. They teased a little bit of like John Cena and LA Knight not liking each other. And even after the match, they were on the stage, and Cena raised LA Knight's arm, but kind of gave him a look. I could see Cena wrestling LA Knight at some point and putting him over, but this match sucked. It was so long, and I'm like, again, get to the point and beat The Miz already. Just do it. And I thought, okay, this is taking a long time. Maybe John Cena's actually going to cost LA Knight the match, and we're going to set something up here. We'll actually have something out of this match. But no, LA Knight just wound up hitting his finisher and beating him. So it just took a while to beat The Miz. It took LA Knight longer to beat The Miz than it took Akira Tozawa to beat The Miz. That doesn't seem right. It took forever. And, you know, it's The Miz. Miz wrestling for just over 15 minutes? No, thank you. No disrespect to LA Knight. He's had some good matches lately. But this wasn't one of them. This sucked. This was the low point of the card. I was falling asleep. I was drinking coffee. I wasn't even really tired. But this was
This is 9 p.m. Wow, you're falling asleep. That's not good.
Wow.
But I feel like
I
we're
woke
building
up with
towards
Rey
seeing a Miz
Mysterio
here.
in the tag match. Like the rest of the show, I was wide awake. I was fine. But this match just took so long. Something about the Miz's wrestling just puts me right to sleep. If ever I have trouble sleeping, I know what to do.
Just watch the Miz wrestle.
Watch
That's
a
not bad
Miz
advice.
DVD or something. Just watch Miz matches. Watch a Miz playlist. You'll fall right asleep.
I have a feeling we're gonna get seeing a Miz on SmackDown coming up. I think.
Okay. That's
Because they brought up the
whatever.
history a little bit. So.
Yeah, I could see it. But that match was very bad. This feud has not helped LA Knight too much.
Well, I mean, in terms of exposure, because he never had someone really to talk back against. The Miz is someone he can actually do that with. So it was more about that, and that's always been about the Miz. It's more about the hype than it is the actual action.
Yep, that's for sure. This was the worst match on the card, right?
Oh, I really didn't like Rhea and Raquel.
Really? I liked it. They were hitting each other real hard. Stiff clotheslines, good kicks.
That was very slow. Crowd was dead. Well, almost like from start to finish of that match. I thought Raquel, like, it really showed, like, she's not ready yet. Like, there's potential, but to wrestle like a top star like that was too much for her to be put in that position, I think. And that finish, like,
yeah,
really just we've seen all these crazy finishes, and that's just another lame distraction finish that we always see.
Yeah, the finish was not good. There were a couple moments in the match that were a little shaky. She tried to pick Rhea up for a powerbomb, and they almost fell out of the ring. Didn't quite work.
Well, then she tossed her on the outside. It was like, well, that was careless. Like
into the barricade there?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that. Like, I liked how rough they were with each other. I liked that Rhea was bleeding from her nose. It was an intense match. They were hitting each other hard. I like this match. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it was not perfect. It wasn't the best match of the night, but it had its moments, and it entertained me. Like, I was interested in this match. I did not dislike this match at all. And, you know, everybody makes mistakes. There's some mistakes in this match, but Corey Graves called her Gonzalez at one point. That's her NXT name. She's Rodriguez now. So everybody's making mistakes, you know? It happens. Dominic Mysterio showed up and kind of got dragged into the ring by Rhea Ripley, but not really, right? Like Rhea is kind of holding him, and then Raquel pulls Rhea, and then Dominic Mysterio gets pulled into the ring, and then Raquel power slam Dominic. Rhea was able to take advantage of the distraction, chop blocked Raquel from behind, hit the Riptide 1, 2, 3. So it was like a distraction finish. Dominic Mysterio just getting into the ring. Not a great finish, but overall, I like the match.
So I gotta say, Dom with his run-ins tonight were really bad. I mean, I don't know if he just wasn't into it or something, but his intensity was terrible. His punches, again, the worst punches in wrestling. He displayed them tonight. Like, sometimes Dom's on, but he was not on tonight.
Oh, he's got a good forearm, man. He busted Kevin Owens open.
See, that's it. It looked bad too, the forearm, and it still like busted somebody open. Like, it's bad, man. It's really bad. But I think that's it too. Like, people probably told him, like, yeah, your strikes are terrible. You know, you gotta lay them in. And then when he finally lays them in, then he busted someone open. So it's like, well, you gotta find that in between there.
Oh, we had Angelo on the line. I think we got Angelo on the line. We're going to try again. Let's get a call on the line. You can call in if you're a member of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net, join.ringsidereport.net. Support the channel, $5 a month, and then you can call into the show. Just like Angelo, Doug Hepburn, Tony Mack. Any of you guys want to call in, you can call in and talk to us here on the show. Uh-oh. I'm hearing myself. Nope.
No, everything's normal on this part. The show hasn't broken yet.
Everything's normal for you?
Yeah.
I'm hearing echoes.
No, I'm good. The show hasn't.
Wait.
I'm not frozen in time yet.
I'm hearing like 2 of me and 2 of you. I'm hearing echoes.
I'm seeing Angelo. Hey, Angelo.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
we hear
I
you.
can hear you
I can hear
now.
you. Nice. How's it going?
How's it going, guys?
Still in shock a bit, but surviving. Yourself?
I can't complain.
So we want to talk about.
I did have a question, but it's relating to AEW, if you don't mind.
No problem.
Wait, hold on, Angelo. Give us your did you watch the pay-per-view?
No, I didn't, but I did
okay.
have one favorite moment I liked though from that pay-per-view.
Yeah, go ahead.
Owens and Zayn wearing Pittsburgh Penguins jerseys coming out of the penalty box.
Cool. So what's your question?
This is regarding AEW. Is it true CM Punk is fired?
Yes.
Was there a reason
I was like you
behind
too
this
at first.
firing?
John, answer his question. I'm having trouble hearing.
Well, you said, like, is it true or not? Like, I was kind of like you at first too. Like, when I first saw the statement, I was like, this can't be real. Like, is someone posting fake information here on Twitter or whatever? And then I checked it over again. It's like, oh, this is probably real. AEW, the actual account. I can't believe it. Tony actually did it. He got rid of Punk. He fired him. It's shocking,
Wow.
but I'm guessing.
I didn't see that coming at all.
I didn't see it. Tony did a speech before Collision saying that he feared for his life, he feared for his safety, and other like production workers. So he said he had no choice. Now, obviously, that leads to more questions. Like, so what's the whole story then? What actually happened? But I guess that will come out eventually.
That's true, I guess.
But it's sad.
Yeah.
I could give you the
You have the whole Tony quote?
Yeah, here, Angelo. I think you'll be able to see this. Here's the
it's not the whole thing, but
from All Elite Wrestling. See, I'm hearing myself now. I got an echo on everything. So it doesn't. You don't hear that, John?
I don't hear it. I'm good.
As soon as we went to the call, I just my whole audio just got fucked. All right. Well, maybe the team can fix it here for me because I can't really. All right, let's try to read this thing. This is a statement from All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan. All Elite Wrestling AEW has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW with cause effective immediately. The termination was confirmed today by Tony Khan, CEO, General Manager, and Head of Creative AEW. The termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident occurring backstage at AEW All In on Sunday, August 27th. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee met and later convened with outside legal counsel before making a unanimous recommendation to Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. Khan offered the following statement. Phil played an important role within AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contracts with cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I am making the decision in the best interest of the many amazing people who make AEW possible every week. Our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television and at arenas and stadiums throughout the world. Can we get back to Angelo? Could you flip me back to the call? I can't hear shit. Hello?
It kind of contradicts a little bit, doesn't it? Like, he had to get a committee, and then it's like, oh, it's my decision, my decision alone. But whatever, I guess. Like, it's weird. And then him saying that he feared for his safety in his life. Like, if you fear for your safety in life, how did it take you 5 days to come to a decision on this? That would be one of my questions. Like if you feared for your safety and other people's lives, that should have been like right away. But they had Punk on Dynamite, like in like the wrap up to All In. They showed like a lot of his match. So I don't understand the logic of this. Like a lot of it doesn't make sense.
Well, they didn't make the decision until today, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Like to me, it's like you think you'd make the decision quicker than that. I mean, if it's such a brutal thing that happened, from what it sounds like, and such a horrible situation from what Tony was describing, like it's something that it shouldn't have been so difficult to make. I mean, if you're fearing for your life and other people's lives, how, like 5 days? You think about it, like I don't know, like that's a lot of questions on that one. I don't think we can hear you, Angelo.
I hear him.
No, I don't hear him.
You don't hear him now?
No,
But you hear me.
I hear you, yeah. But I don't
I
hear
still
Angelo,
hear an
sadly.
echo. Super chat. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's going on. All right, Angelo, thanks for the question. Thanks for the call. We'll talk to you again later. We'll fix this again. I don't know. Still, I don't think it's right. See you, Angelo. There he
Work
is.
in progress. Take care.
Let's see. Is it better now? Yeah, okay. My audio is better now. Can you hear me, John?
Oh, I was always perfect. It's just I lost Angelo for a little bit near the end there when he was talking.
Okay. I had an echo the whole time. I couldn't hear anything. Like it was like
Oh, I'm sure
I
it
was
must
hearing
have been
myself 3 times. I was hearing you twice. Like I was hearing Angelo. It was like crazy.
Agonizing,
gotta
it
fix
sounds
that.
like.
Huh?
That sounds agonizing.
Yeah, it was annoying.
Yeah.
Doug Hepburn dropping a
But-
super chat for Angelo. Thank you, Angelo, for calling in. I couldn't really talk to him. I couldn't really hear him. So next time we'll.
Try tomorrow, Angelo.
Yeah. Well, good thing we can try again tomorrow, right? We're back tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, fearing for your life. How did he fear for his life?
Well, that's it. We don't know the whole story here, so there's more to it that hasn't been released yet. I imagine All Out post scrum. Hopefully, he'll be more talkative, but I guess we'll wait and see. Yeah, I'll try again tomorrow, Angelo. That'd be great.
But you're 100% right. Like, if you fear for your life, wouldn't you fire the guy immediately instead of 5 or 6 days later after promoting him on a couple TV shows?
The logic here, it's baffling. I don't understand it.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. Also, he's like the biggest draw in your company. Why would you fire him? How about that?
Well, there's that. I get that, but I mean, again, if people's lives are at risk and you actually fear that, then you need to do something now, not like a couple of days from now, we'll see what happens on Sunday kind of thing. Not leave us in suspense. Like if lives are on the line, this should happen right away. Like I don't want to say that Tony tried to babyface himself there, but that it seemed kind of off that way he was trying to do it. Like I don't know. Like I feel like there's a lot more to this story that we don't know about, so it's hard, really, I think, to say it until we get the whole story, because we still haven't got Punk's side of the story, and then I'm sure there's more of that story when you piece it all together.
Yeah, Punk, if you want, you can come on our podcast as long as you promise to pay our legal bills afterwards. Okay? How about that? How about that? God damn. I can't believe they actually fired him. And the way that they did it, too, to do this public letter and then to do a promo before the show. Like, we can't show the Tony Khan promo, but, like, I feared for my life and the safety of others and da-da-da. I've never been to a wrestling show and feared for my life. What? First of all,
Yeah.
if CM Punk is making you fear for your life, you need to step it up, brother. It's like I was saying to you last night. Was I saying this to you on the show, or was I saying this to you after the show about how Tony Khan has zero meathead in him?
I think this was after the show, actually.
This is after the show, yeah.
After the show, yeah.
But it's true. So, like, Tony Khan runs AEW right now, right? He's running a
Right.
group of pro wrestlers. There's a lot of testosterone and, meathead type dudes in pro wrestling, right?
Egomaniacs, yeah.
Yeah. And when you are running a group of these types of dudes, to have control over them, you have to be one of them in a way. And Vince McMahon is one of them. Vince is a goddamn meathead, gigantic, roided up savage. And he ran the WWE, and he runs it with respect. Triple H, same type of thing. Dana White with the UFC, he's like, big jacked guy, talks trash, like Tony Khan, he's like this little stats nerd. And the wrestlers are kind of running roughshod over him. And I think to run a group of meatheads, you have to be a meathead yourself. And I think Tony Khan has zero meathead in him. Missing something. He's missing something. It's like it's not working. He doesn't seem to have control over the locker room. He doesn't seem to have ultimate respect from the guys. And they're doing whatever they want. He's got wrestlers as EVPs, active wrestlers, not retired wrestlers, not whatever, guys in the prime of their careers wrestling for title matches as executives in the company who've hired a lot of their friends and family to work for the company. And CM Punk got into a beef with them. From then on, it just devolved. But it's also because Tony Khan is treating everybody all nice and wants to be friends with everybody, and he's not ruling with an iron fist. When he fires somebody, he waits for their contract to run out, doesn't talk to them, just tries to avoid them. He doesn't call anybody into his office and say, "You're fired, we're done with you." Nothing. He doesn't fire anybody. He doesn't fire anybody. He lets people's contracts run out because he's too scared to do it. He doesn't want to be mad. He doesn't want anybody mad. And then they wind up mad anyways because they're like, I didn't hear from him for 3 months. I was like, can I get a contract renewal? My contract's up. And then I guess I stopped getting booked. And then that was that. That's how he lets go of people under contract. But the first guy he fires in a real way is CM Punk, and he does it because his life was in danger. And there's lawyers and a committee, and there's all these things, so he was right to do it. I don't think it bodes well for the future of AEW the way this all went down. Maybe CM Punk should have been fired. Maybe he's a total jackass, whatever. It's not the point. The point is he's a legit star. He's a guy that everybody wanted to see. He's still doing good work, and you weren't able to control the ego and control the locker room and keep everybody in check to keep the money train coming in. And now you have a show called Collision with no star. No star. You built a whole TV show around this guy, and he's gone. Because you couldn't control the goddamn locker room. You can't control the talent. That's a problem. It doesn't bode well for the future of AEW. He looks like a money mark right now.
Did you see what Cash did?
No.
When FTR came out, when Cash Wheeler came out, he went like this.
Yeah.
So.
And the Young Bucks made their Collision debuts tonight. They made the save. They made the save for FTR in the main event of Collision. I was watching Collision tonight. You better believe I was watching Collision tonight. I wanted to know how that Chicago crowd was going to react. And in the main event, it was FTR balled against, I think, Jay White, right? And then all the Bullet Club guys attacked FTR. And CM Punk came out. No, not CM Punk, sorry. The Young Bucks came out and made the save for FTR.
Wish.
Yeah. Young Bucks came out, made the save for FTR. And Tony smokes their dope, too. Yes, that's what Joey Janela said, right? He smoked my weed. I thought we were cool. That disappeared on me. I thought we were friends. Wasn't that Joey Janela? No, that was
Big Swole.
Big Swole. Guy smoking my weed.
Yeah.
A fucking billionaire, you know? Come on. So Young Bucks come out, make the save for FTR, and they go to shake FTR's hand, and the crowd is booing the Young Bucks. They're chanting CM Punk. At that point, they became unglued, you know? And that's who's going to take the heat. Whenever the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Page step foot in an arena in Chicago, those fans will be booing them and yelling at them and chanting CM Punk for the foreseeable future. That's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Like, I give Tony a lot of credit because I think he knew, like, this was going to pretty much kill a market of his, one of their biggest markets. And, like, he knows he has a pay-per-view the next day. So, like, the fact that he decided to make this decision, I give him a lot of credit for finally taking a stand. I disagree with that's the way he wanted to go about it, but at least he finally decided this is what I'm going to do kind of thing. So, and he knows, like, the fans are going to be mad, obviously. They showed it to him tonight, and they'll probably give it to him tomorrow too. But, like, he still finally made a decision about this. And, AEW can finally move on. Eventually.
They're going to have to, because they actually fired CM Punk.
Yeah, Punk ain't coming back. Like,
No.
This is it. Like, it's over.
Is he done in wrestling? Because I don't see WWE touching him. I don't think they're going anywhere near him. He's like 45 years old or something, you know?
Still good, though.
He's still good, but he's injury prone, and they're not going to push him at a top level at this point. Like, he's not beating Roman Reigns. He's not beating Cody Rhodes. They got more invested.
There's issues.
They got more invested in those guys than CM Punk, and they also, don't like CM Punk too much.
Well, that's it. Remember Seth Rollins, like, saying that he's a cancer in wrestling, like.
I mean, come on, man. They don't want him around. They don't want him. WWE will not sign CM Punk, even if he's willing to sign on the cheap. They would not sign him. I don't think they want the problems.
Survivor Series is in Chicago, so you never know.
I mean, sure, maybe for a one-time thing to job to Roman.
Well, the thing is, like, would they even do that though? That's the thing that I'd question as well. But, like, honestly, like, I'm really hoping Punk still wrestles because I thought this run he had, although brief, was fantastic and showed that, like, he still should be in wrestling in some capacity. Like, if it can't be in WWE, it can't be in AEW. I'm hoping New Japan can pick him up because I think that would get a lot of people interested in New Japan.
Yeah. And then he could still work for AEW every once in a while,
Oh, I don't think so, but okay. You can believe that.
For like a Forbidden Door show or something, Just one match. That way he could work an AEW show, but he wouldn't have to actually work in AEW. Win-win.
It's sad. I mean, to me, this was the biggest thing in wrestling. Punk versus the Elite. And we never got it. To me, this might be the biggest miss in wrestling. Because this could have changed wrestling. This could have been the new NWO angle, the big thing that would change wrestling. And we never got it. It's really sad.
I think what's really sad is that Bryan Danielson and CM Punk circled each other for years. Wrestled each other a little bit.
Right.
But in WWE and in AEW, never did the big match. Never had the big feud. Never did the thing. Ring of Honor, WWE, AEW, they circled each other, but it never really kicked off. And those two guys are the best of their generation. And now that Punk is leaving, it's like, wow, that Danielson thing is never going to happen. I think more than the Elite, because whatever, the matches would have been cool. But Danielson and Punk, they're on the same level. They're of the same generation. You know, they're an interesting pairing, and they're equal in a lot of ways. And it never happened. And it felt like in WWE that should have been the match at one point, WrestleMania, for the belt. Those were the guys, and Punk left, and it just never happened. Back in AEW, they're both there. It felt like we were headed there. Punk was champion. Bryan was making his way, and they just never went in that direction. And now we'll never see it. Those two guys, legends. They wrestled a bit in WWE over AJ Lee, but it wasn't what you wanted to see. They had some good matches,
Right.
but it wasn't the match. It wasn't the feud that they could have had. And
It didn't main event a pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's it. That's kind of nuts if you think about it, because they were around each other. They were the best of their era, and it just never happened. And again, like, CM Punk was gonna wrestle Ricky Starks tomorrow night in a strap match. That was the plan.
Yeah, right.
He was involved in this whole Ricky Steamboat thing. He was involved in the Ricky Starks match. Ricky Steamboat was challenged to a strap match by Ricky Starks. CM Punk was gonna, if he wasn't fired, was gonna come out tonight and say, you're gonna wrestle me tomorrow instead, strap match, da-da-da. But instead, Bryan Danielson shows up early from his injury. I guess he's good enough. And he steps in and he takes the place, and he's gonna wrestle Ricky Starks. Ricky Steamboat came out and was like, I have a contract. It says you versus the Dragon, and Ricky Starks signed it. And he's like, people know me as the Dragon, but they also know this guy as the Dragon. And then Bryan Danielson came out, and it's going to be Danielson versus Ricky Starks. And it makes sense because Danielson doesn't have a history with Ricky Steamboat. So, him coming to Steamboat's defense is fine. But, again, it's funny because Danielson and Punk, just kind of two ships passing each other in the night, never quite meeting, And here's Punk stepping away, and Danielson coming back, stepping in, taking his place. And now tomorrow we get Bryan Danielson versus Ricky Starks, which, no disrespect, is going to be better than CM Punk versus Ricky Starks, because Bryan Danielson is the better of the two.
Well, here's the problem with that. Danielson was only supposed to come back in October from a broken arm. Now he has to come back early from a broken arm. And it has to be a strap match. I don't know about you. I'm not a fan of putting Danielson in extreme kind of matches where he can get injured again right away. I feel like someone Danielson should probably have an easier match, maybe just a regular match first to get him back into it from a major injury. I don't think it is a better match, to be honest, just for Danielson's health.
Yeah, I always worry about bringing Bryan Danielson back from an injury early because I don't want to risk his health. Yeah. But I love seeing Bryan Danielson. If you don't have CM Punk, Bryan Danielson is a pretty good replacement.
He is good. I just worry about the timing of this and the fact that he just came back from an injury, and I feel like this is how he gets hurt again, because you put him in these crazy kind of matches where he can get hurt easily. So, but we'll see tomorrow. I imagine a lot of people. I'm gonna wonder what's the attendance gonna be tomorrow? I wouldn't be surprised a lot of people don't show up to the pay-per-view. They were supposed to get 10,000, but I don't know now.
I think if you bought a ticket, you're still gonna go. If you had a ticket, you wouldn't go?
These CM Punk fans, man, they're very passionate. I've seen a lot of them. They're like, AEW, we're done with you. I've seen a lot of that tonight. I understand. Punk's their hero. A lot of that straight edge lifestyle. A lot of them, it's because of Punk.
I guess. I don't know. I don't live that life, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, even just wrestling, though, for a lot of people, they watch wrestling again because of CM Punk. So, it's tough, I think, for a lot of people right now. And just right away, just like, oh, he's gone. That's it. And we have pay-per-view tomorrow. That's rough, man.
I watch wrestling
again,
because of another drug-free American legend. Hulk Hogan, brother.
I thought you were going to say Danielson, but okay.
No. Hogan. Guy's drug-free, just vitamins. Punk. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad the way it all wound up, and I don't know if he'll ever wrestle again.
He should.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame if he didn't, because I think he still has a lot more to give to wrestling. I think he's still what people want to see. So hopefully somewhere.
Where?
Sometime soon. He comes
New Japan
back.
is probably the best.
I think New Japan's the best. I don't think Impact can afford him.
Mm-mm.
And I like it to be in WWE, but that might take some work.
It would be cool. I just don't see it happening.
Right. I think New Japan's the best place.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes was on the Grayson Waller effect, and welcome back Jey Uso to Raw. Jey Uso quit all of WWE like 2 weeks ago, and now he's on Raw. And Jey Uso and Cody crossed each other, and Cody seemed happy, but maybe a little bit not sure about Jey Uso. And then Grayson Waller was like, whatever, you've been gone for a couple of weeks. Who cares? And then Jey Uso super kicked Grayson Waller. What's the deal? Jey Uso's on Raw? I don't get it.
Well, they just wanted something to get people talking. That's it. I mean, what else was Cody going to say? He's going to SmackDown? Like, that's not really that big of a deal, I think. But Jey coming back, people want to see Jey. So, it's a nice moment for him.
The booking of the Usos is super weird right now because Jey Uso is coming back, seems like a babyface, but the top babyface, Cody Rhodes, doesn't really trust him. And now he's on Raw. It's weird. He quit, and now he's back, and it's odd. And then Jimmy Uso, he's on SmackDown, and Jimmy Uso was booked super weird. He comes out at the beginning of the show with John Cena, and he's kind of a heel. He's saying heelish things to Cena, and Cena hits him with the attitude adjustment. So he's kind of a heel, even though, Jimmy cost Jey the title match against Roman. But he did it because he didn't want Jey to become like Roman because he thinks Roman is bad. So Jimmy doesn't like Roman, who's the top heel of the company. And then at the end of the night, Jimmy was in, last night, Jimmy was in, helped Solo win a match against AJ Styles, right?
Yep.
He helped Solo Sikoa win a match. And Solo is not understanding because Solo's with Roman and Jimmy is helping him, but it's like your brothers, there's still a bond there. So Jimmy helped Solo beat AJ Styles, and then he went and celebrated with Solo, and then Solo was about to hit him with the Samoan Spike, but then Heyman was like, no, Solo, don't attack Jimmy. And then Solo left all confused, and Jimmy was like, you and me, Solo, bloodline, something. So Jimmy's booking is super weird because he's a heel. He likes Solo, but he doesn't like Roman. And then Jey has come into Raw, and he's a babyface, but the top babyface, Cody, is maybe not trusting him. So I'm not sure what's going on with the Usos right now. I feel like maybe Roman Reigns has sent them on missions as secret agents. They saw the light. They realized that the tribal chief was right all along. You can't beat Roman. And while Roman's been away, he's spoken to the Usos. He's told them, you go to Raw, you go to SmackDown. We're going to fake everybody out. You guys take over. And then we're going to reveal in time that this is all a great plan. Don't tell Solo yet. I'll tell Solo, And that's why Heyman was calling Roman after the show. He was like, what's going on here, Roman? And Roman's going to fill him in, and that's the deal. Maybe. I'm spitballing here. I'm throwing ideas out there. But it is odd, the booking of especially Jimmy Uso. So far, Jey, it's kind of not that weird, but the fact that he just quits WWE a couple weeks ago, on TV, he's like, I quit SmackDown, I quit WWE. And then a couple weeks later, Cody Rhodes is like, Jey Uso's coming to Raw. It's like, what? You know? It's strange. It's a strange move for both Usos right now. So I don't know what to make of it. I'm interested, though. Like, I want to know what they're going to do. I feel like there's some sort of plan, but it's not clear. So in due time.
Well, I think the end game is to have Jay versus Jimmy at WrestleMania. So that's why they had to separate them, I think, on different shows. So I think that's why they did that. And with Jimmy, it's more of like, you don't have any friends, so you might as well come back to your enemies. I think that's how that's working out.
So Jay, babyface, Jimmy, heel, Uso versus Uso at WrestleMania?
Yep.
Why?
Because that's the match they've always wanted to do. They've said that that's their dream match. They already had the main event of WrestleMania, which is a bit of a joke or whatever.
So their dream match is to wrestle each other, so WWE's just giving it to them?
Yep.
And this is like, they've said this in interviews or something?
Yeah, they said this in interviews, yeah.
Okay. It's kind of lame. Kind of a spoiler, you know?
Well, maybe people should do interviews like this and spoil everything, but, you know, Seth.
Yeah, Seth talking about the back injury like months before the story about it. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what's going on with the Usos. The booking of Jimmy Uso is weird. Like, what does he do when Roman comes back?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. But that'll be an interesting episode of SmackDown when it finally happens.
Yeah, when Roman finally comes back in like November. And Doug Hepburn says, I was always hoping Punk versus Elite was a work. Yeah.
A lot of people kept saying that. We were stupid. Like, oh, it's just a work. Well, not quite.
Do you think there's any way, you know, in a year or so, things calm down, they sign Punk again? They bring him back?
I mean, we had a year to calm down. We got this happening. You know, we had All Out last year and then All In. Like, honestly, man, like I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's just unfixable.
Imagine choosing Jungle Boy over CM Punk.
Well, it's not really. It's choosing the Elite over CM Punk, which you thought back then when this originally happened. Is like, how can you choose the Elite over Punk? It's one guy over all these guys who made AEW. You know, they're the foundation.
Yeah, how could you choose Punk over the Elite, right?
Right.
Well, they are the founding members. Happened. The company doesn't really exist without them.
Right.
And they are pretty good, you know? But Punk is good too. I just would like to live in a world where they can all be on the same wrestling show and have good matches. Imagine.
I thought that was the best world we were living in, but sadly we can't live in that world anymore.
We've had top guys that were known as total dicks, and, you know, people did business. Shawn Michaels. People didn't like Hogan.
Yep.
People didn't like Ultimate Warrior. They did business. They main evented. They had big matches. Is CM Punk more hated by the wrestling companies than Ultimate Warrior?
Well, history has changed now, right? They don't hate Warrior anymore. He was misunderstood. And now
right.
they've rechanged the narrative, right?
Yeah. I still have that Ultimate Warrior DVD, that Self-Destruction of Ultimate Warrior DVD they put out, WWE. I have that. We don't forget.
Oh, you can still find Ultimate Warrior videos on YouTube, and you'll be shocked to hell the things that he says in those videos.
Yeah.
Especially about Hogan. But I'm sure, again, Punk had his detractors, and he had, people that were in his corner. I'm sure this divides the locker room now. So that's, I'm sure, not a lot of fun for a lot of people right now.
Yeah. What are the conversations like between FTR and the Bucks before their matches? Now. Tomorrow. Apparently FTR and the Bucks can do business, right? I mean, they had a great match at the pay-per-view last week. They're doing promos. They're doing things in the ring. They're going to have another match together tomorrow.
I mean, I wonder what's gonna happen tomorrow. Not so much in terms of like the excitement, but in terms of like what the crowd's gonna be like. I'd be surprised if they survive this pay-per-view. A lot of these guys. I'm feeling like there's gonna be garbage thrown in the ring. Like, I think there'll be. They apparently they were taking away CM Punk signs. AEW.
Wow.
So we're getting to that point now where we're trying to erase CM Punk.
Oh God.
And now he's gonna become a martyr now because of this. He's gonna be more popular now because of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially all the people that hate the Elite. Those people are gonna be rabid for CM Punk.
Like I think WWE, I mean, they should look at. There's a lot of value in CM Punk.
Yes. I mean, AEW knew that, and they had him, and they chose to get rid of him. They're like, not worth it. And I'd say that he's worth more to AEW than he would be to WWE. You know,
well,
WWE has a roster full of stars. AEW, it's not as stacked.
Yeah, but if he was top merch seller in AEW, I could just imagine WWE. I'm sure he'd be number one again too.
Mm-hmm. But do you want the headache? You think Triple H wants to deal with him?
I mean, he went to a Raw recently and he tried to mend bridges, I think. So.
And then they told him to leave.
Vince finally found out about it. So.
Yeah, Vince told him to leave. And Vince is still in charge. Vince wants nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
So, it's too bad, but hopefully they could do something for Survivor Series.
Doug Hepburn says, future Dark Side of the Ring episode. I agree. I think the CM Punk story will be Dark Side of the Ring. Like, that's what it's headed towards. I can't wait till we find out all the real stories behind all the fights and all the things. Who's going to get that CM Punk interview? You know, what's going to happen?
Well, just wait for Punk. Punk's going to eventually say something. So, and just wait until Jack Perry comes back on television. That's going to be something.
Yeah, he's going to take a lot of heat. If it's not for him, if he didn't do that, none of this happens. We still have CM Punk. They chose goddamn Jungle Boy over CM Punk.
I just wonder, like, Chicago, is this the last All Out in Chicago?
I don't know.
Maybe this should be the last All Out ever. I think that might be the best idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe don't do a pay-per-view a week after the biggest show of the year. Why? Oh, man. All right. Well, we'll be back.
Not working out.
We'll be back tomorrow night, right? After All Out. We'll watch All Out tomorrow, and we'll see what they have for us.
I don't think it'll be as good as Payback.
I don't think so either. I think it'll be longer.
Oh, yeah. I think it'll definitely be longer, and that'll be a huge problem with it.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back here tomorrow night for All Out without CM Punk because he got fired. What the hell, man? 10-match main card. What are they doing? What are they doing? Ridiculous. 13 matches total. 13 matches total.
We can say this, though. Like, AEW lived without CM Punk before. They can live without him again. It's just like, I don't know if it's going to be as good, but
now they have the stain of CM Punk on them, though. They have the stain of the failed CM Punk experiment and how they completely bumbled it the whole way through. Now they have how everything has been exposed in their company of how things really go and how they can't keep a top star happy and they can't keep it right in the locker room. AEW has gone to shit ever since Cody Rhodes left. All the problems, all the fights, all the bullshit started kicking off when Cody left. I think he was the glue holding everything together. Look at what's happened. You need the American Nightmare. And since Cody has gone to WWE, things have not been better. Cody has elevated that whole company. Cody Rhodes, man. Generational talent. What a guy.
Yeah, you're right, though. Yeah.
Yeah?
It's worked out good for him. Not everyone else.
Yeah. Cody is looking great throughout this whole thing. Cody's got no stink on him. Looking like $1 million. His promo tonight really said nothing about his future, though. What the hell's he doing next?
No, but he got a great reaction, though. So,
yeah.
I mean, people still love him. They just got to give him something to do.
Yeah, they got to hurry up with that. He's super over. He should go up against Seth next and maybe take the title because, come on. Make Cody champion already. All right, we'll be back tomorrow night after AEW's All Out. Shout out to Doug Hepburn. You're the Super Chat leader of the night. Thank you, Doug. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis. Thanks for calling, Angelo. We'll work out the bugs, and we'll get it all fixed and get you back on real soon. Shout out Doug. Shout out Angelo. All the members over at join.ringsidereport.net. Tony Mack, Ray Cruz. Thank you, Tony, for staying up late with us tonight out in London. Shout out to Ray Cruz. I saw some other members checking in. A lot of green. If I see those green names in the chat, they stick out. I see you guys. And I appreciate all the members over at join.ringsidereport.net. And yes, that was an artificial intelligence version of AJ doing the promos before the show, which I thought was great. Capiche? I loved all that stuff. AI AJ? Almost better than the real AJ. Almost.
Has AJ heard this yet?
I don't think so. We got to play this for AJ.
Wow.
He's going to freak out.
Yep.
He's going to lose it. All right, so we'll be back here tomorrow night. Doug, I love all those AJ head emojis. I think that's great. And you can only do those emojis if you're a member over at join.ringsidereport.net. All right, we'll be back tomorrow night.
Changers for each fighter.
What the hell?
Looking to place a bet?
Oh, there he is. Yeah. No, give me more AJ first. Give me more.
Get an edge over the competition. Discover lesser-known facts, training camp secrets, and behind-the-scenes tidbits that only our seasoned crew can deliver. Share your fight predictions and be featured in the broadcast. For both new fans and...
Yeah. I love AI AJ.
The best part is when he says, my good friend AJ.
My good friend
the best
AJ.
part of that one.
He's like his clone or something, you know? It's like the movie Multiplicity, but with AJs. We got like so many AJs.
Yeah.
Huh?
The Westworld does the whole AI thing too.
Oh, okay.
With the robots.
I was just doing cloning. Multiplicity with Michael Keaton. Classic film. Come on, bro. All right, guys.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm an old man. All right? Deal with it. I'll be back here tomorrow night after the All Out show, which will be very late. I don't know what time. I'm guessing midnight-ish.
I'm going to say 1, but okay.
Fuck off. Better not be.
I'm being realistic here. Like
I know, but you make me sad when you say things like that. I got things to do Monday morning. I don't want to be up too late, but, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, hey, now. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow night after All Out right here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks for watching here tonight, the WWE Payback post show.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. Flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next